Well, welcome to today's episode. Today we've got a very special guest, Elisa Gooding. Elisa is the Recruitment and Technology Manager at HR Annie Consulting. It's a Portland-based HR and recruitment consulting firm that connects great employers with talented employees. She combines recruiting expertise with a practical love of technology, showing teams how AI can simplify the hiring process so that recruiters can focus on strategy and partnership. Elisa enjoys helping businesses modernize how they hire without losing the people-first values that make great workplaces thrive. So welcome, Elisa.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, 100%. And for those of you just joining the podcast, we at Strativa AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. And so if you'd like to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure to stick around for future episodes. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word growth into the DMs. So Elisa, can you tell us about your background and how you got to the job that you're at with Cindy and her team?
Yeah, definitely. So I initially started out my career thinking that I wanted to be a therapist, be a marriage and family therapist. And for semester or so of grad school, quickly realized that wasn't the right fit for me. But I still wanted to, had an interest in psychology, still wanted to be able to help people. So that's kind of what led me to get into HR. And so over the last 10 plus years now, I've been kind of cycling through HR and recruitment focused roles. So really kind of supporting in all aspects of HR. And I've been with HR Annie now for, I think it's 3.5 years, coming up on 4 years almost.
Nice.
And I've been focused on a recruiting role. So initially started out with the team as a recruiter, and then kind of worked my way into senior recruiter and then now recruitment channel manager. And then earlier this year, we decided to tack on a tech manager aspect to the role as well.
To your role as well. Okay. Nice. So you just switch up hats once in a while then.
Yeah, kind of how it goes in a small business.
Yeah. And so what is the size of it? Like either in terms of team or revenue or number of clients served?
Yeah, so we have 14 people on our team right now.
Okay.
We provide support for HR, recruitment, training, pre-employment due diligence, 14 of us providing all different levels of support. And right now, I believe we have maybe almost 200 active clients that we're working with. And they're kind of all focused for the most part in the Pacific Northwest, but we do have folks all along the West Coast and throughout the US as well.
And are there specific sectors that you focus on for the clients?
So I would say for the most part, our common theme is that we're working with small to mid-sized businesses. So we have clients in all different industries.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, naturally, we have ended up with a lot of food and beverage clients, but we work in hospitality, technology, construction, healthcare. We have a lot of healthcare clients. Yeah, kind of all across the board, but the main theme is going to be that they're generally small to mid-sized businesses, anywhere from 3 employees to about 50 or so, I think would kind of be where we're at.
And typical job roles that you might fulfill for them include what?
Yeah, also all across the board too.
Yeah, really?
So
Oh, wow.
yeah. So our team, we've gotten very, very nimble when it comes to working on different roles because we'll have anywhere from a dental assistant to a patient scheduling coordinator up to a director of construction, executive director of a nonprofit. So it's definitely a really wide range of roles that we're working on.
And so then is the team that you mentioned, are they all based around the Pacific Northwest as well, or are you guys spread out at all?
Yeah, we're all in the Portland area, so it's
Okay.
nice for us to be able to work together. We actually just
Yeah.
got a new office space in Portland recently, so
nice.
now we're able to get back to a hybrid work setting.
Great. Congrats.
Thanks.
And then so depending on, you mentioned like different channels and stuff. So within your organization though, do you guys have like certain recruiters that do work in certain sectors, or is it more like they may work with CEOs and no matter the sector?
It varies just depending on, we look more so at
Yeah.
capacity, I would say. what I enjoy about the work that we do is that we want to make sure that our team feels really supported. And
Mm.
so right now there's just three of us on the recruitment team, and then we are also working with a contractor. And so we'll just kind of take a look at where everyone's at. Is someone feeling super overwhelmed with everything they have on their plate? Can they take on a new recruitment? And so it's definitely led to a lot of opportunities for our team to get to experience recruiting in different industries on different types of roles. But our recruiters do also sort of have a preference or a background. We have one that has a background in creative recruiting, and then another that really enjoys working with food and beverage clients. So we try to line it up so that our recruiters get to work with the types of clients that they feel most comfortable working with, or the types of industries that they enjoy working in. But they're pretty adaptable too to work in any industry as well.
Nice. Way back in the day, I used to do recruiting work myself, and I got burnt out so fast. I was put into a role that I excelled at, but then I didn't really like the sector I was working in. It was placing people in that were doing the clinical trials for pharmaceutical companies. And I just remember back in the day, I didn't really identify with those individuals as far as their job roles go that well. And for me, it just ended up like being the classic dialing for dollars.
Hmm.
So I didn't
Yeah.
really last long in that position before I just totally switched to a different industry. And so it's really nice to hear of how supportive you are in regards to touching base with your recruiters and finding out where they feel that they could succeed the most, and then kind of, setting them up for success in that regard.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just really love about our team and our organization is that we're really focused on supporting each other. I've worked in an agency, recruitment agency type background, and it can be so competitive, and
Yeah.
it becomes like, oh, that's my client or that's my candidate. And we
Uh-huh.
just don't have that at all.
Wow.
And it's nice to have this team where it's in one week I could be really overwhelmed. I have so much on my plate, and I can say, hey Carly, hey Katie, can you jump in and support here? And it's nice to really have that support because it's not common anywhere else
Yeah.
really, even in most organizations I feel. So it's really nice to feel that support.
And how would you say that's translated through to working with your clients or working with your candidates? So, can you share a story about how that support or hands-on or some sort of unique touch that you guys do has really led to a great impact for a client?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess kind of overall, and just to share a bit about how we work, because it's a little bit different too than I think like standard staffing agency or what people assume with a staffing agency. We're not headhunters. We really work as an extension of our client's internal hiring team. And
Hmm.
so, what we do that's more unique is that we are really getting involved in the actual like interview process and the onboarding process and understanding the ins and outs of the organization and helping them to build up their internal recruitment infrastructure so that they can have a successful recruitment program so that it attracts more candidates and brings in those really strong folks that want to work for these organizations that make it very clear that they appreciate their employees and want to support their employees because they do have these really welcoming and inviting interview processes because that can be really nerve-wracking for candidates too, depending
Yeah.
on what level someone is. It can be a tough one. So working with our clients to really fine-tune that process and then supporting them through onboarding as well. So that's where our HR
Oh,
consulting
okay.
piece really comes into it. So we're an HR consulting firm first. We just also happen to specialize in recruiting as well. So
Okay.
that really is what would differentiate us, and I feel what really sets us apart. And we just always want to focus on working with those types of companies that really want to take good care of their employees. And we know what it's like to take care of our employees. So it's really easy to be able to identify with other organizations that have that same feeling as well.
Indeed. And so I assume that's kind of where the name came from then, HR Annie being HR first and then recruiting second?
Yeah, so HR Annie actually is a real life Annie who founded the organization.
Okay.
So she founded the organization in 2010. So we are celebrating our 15-year anniversary this year. So that's
Happy anniversary.
exciting. Yeah. And so Annie, she had spent her career working in HR, and then she retired once or twice and just each time she retired, she ended up getting bored. And so
Right.
she started doing some consulting, and then that really grew to HR Annie consulting as we are today. A couple years into when she first started this venture, she brought in her daughter Cindy, who is now the owner and CEO of the organization.
Okay,
So
got
she's
it.
kind of taken the reins, and Annie still comes in to help us with projects and stuff. So it's been really cool to get to not only know the founder of an organization, but also
Yeah.
get to work with her occasionally too.
Right, right. And sounds like a bit of a family business there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And so, how about AI? How has AI come into your workspace, you know, personally, and then also say either onto the client front or the candidate experience?
Yeah, definitely. So for me, when ChatGPT first came out, I was very interested in it. I've always been a little bit of a tech nerd, and so I was just kind of dabbling with it in my personal life. And then
Yeah.
after a few years in, realized, okay, I can use this within work, and I can use this to help me be a better recruiter, be a better employee, and just really fine tune a lot of things and think bigger, and really starting to use it not just as a here, help me rewrite this email. It's help me strategize this, help me work through this problem that I'm having.
Yeah.
And so once I had a good understanding of it, I started to talk with Cindy about it a little bit more and just really expressed my interest in wanting to learn more and wanting to take ownership of something like this. And she's always been interested as well. And so it was kind of this perfect combination of this is something I want to do. Here's this opportunity. So that's how the tech manager thing came to be earlier this year. And
Okay.
so once we made it official at the beginning of this year, that's when I started working more closely with the rest of our team members just to get an understanding of are they using AI? What tools are they using? How are they using it? Looking at what their day to day looks like and trying to determine if there are ways that we can use AI or other tech platforms to try to create some efficiencies. I love efficiency.
Yeah.
So being able to implement any sort of platform or tool to try to make things a lot easier on our team so that we can continue to support our clients with the same level of support even as we grow. Don't have these big, huge ambitions become a really large consulting team. We like the size of our organization now and we want to grow naturally. And so being able to use certain tools allows us to take on more clients without needing to. We can still provide
Mm.
that really great service to our clients with just the tools and the people that we have.
And so, has the majority of the AI integration been internal for your various different tasks? Or is there also a forward facing into either the client or the candidate experience?
Yeah, it's been mostly internal.
Uh
We
huh.
are exploring what some options could look like if we ever wanted to implement some tools that would be more external facing for clients or candidates. But right now, it's more so looking at, we're a Microsoft company, so we're trying to figure out
Okay.
how can we best utilize Copilot internally. It's a habit to go to ChatGPT. I'm just so used to it, and I feel it just is better at a lot of things. And so we're just looking at internally how we can utilize those tools that we already have available to us and kind of exploring to what makes sense. Being in HR consulting and also in the way that we work with our clients too, because we do have such sensitive information, we want to be very careful about the tools that we're implementing, especially
Yeah.
if we are going to have any sort of external interaction with the tools that we're using. So just being really thoughtful in what we're doing, how we're using it, why are we using it, and identifying the best tool to utilize for whatever that purpose is.
Yeah. And so that's a really big deal. Like that security around the individuals? And are there things that are unique to the recruiting industry where, like, there's unique compliance or regulatory things, especially around AI? It sounds like you're kind of siloed with keeping it all in house, with not and without having any of the forward facing AI in the user experience. But yeah, does the recruiting industry have some sort of compliance regulation stuff that you have to be cognizant of as you're using the AI in your internal workflows?
Yeah, yeah. So some states, California and New York, I know for certain, I'd have to go back to look to see what other ones, but states are now starting to implement or roll out these regulations around how AI can be used. Whether it's it being used as a screening tool or
Mm.
making sure to announce to candidates if any sort of AI is being utilized in the screening process. And so our team has just been we've got a notebook, a OneNote going of all the different rules and regulations that have been coming up recently of anything that's AI and tech related so that we can make
Yeah.
sure to stay on top of it and ensure that our clients, if they are in those locations, that they are aware of these rules and regulations and what the penalties could be or consequences of not utilizing it, and just really helping them to understand the importance of being aware of these rules and why they're in place.
And so are there are you using like any ATS AI, any sort of systems that are helping you look at candidates and try to do the matchmaking? Or is your recruiting firm still very hands-on with like going through applicants one by one, the human AI?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we use tools to help with the process. So more so kind of, I guess, let's say if we get a role that gets 100 applicants, the amount of time that it would take to go through every single one, it's just not possible. We just don't have the
Yeah.
bandwidth. And so
Yeah.
it helps us to sort of categorize based on, okay, this person checks all of the boxes of every single thing that we're looking for, and then kind of goes through the list and putting folks in certain buckets or using screening questions of, is this person located where we need them to be? So we use it as a tool to help us be a little
Mhm.
bit more efficient in that. But at the end, we're still going through and we're looking through to make sure that the tools are accurately reviewing someone's resume and that it isn't making any misconceptions about someone's resume. So we're still involved in that process. It just helps us to organize things and make it a little bit easier to go through all of those applications.
Sure, sure. And have you reached any sort of barriers when trying to use AI in the company? And how have you overcome any resistance against using AI?
Yeah, for the most part, not really any barriers. Fortunately, Cindy has been very supportive of exploring AI and technology and how we can utilize it. I would say the biggest thing is just getting an understanding of our team's comfort and experience level with
Right.
certain tools.
Yeah.
So everyone's definitely open to it. I feel the benefit of a smaller team too is that we have really great communication. And so anytime there is something new, people feel comfortable to say, hey, I'm not really sure about this, or I do it this way and this works really well for me. And so I've learned just being able to meet with folks one-on-one, understanding what any reservations are, sharing why we want to make this change or why we're implementing this tool, how it will better impact their day-to-day work, and then just helping to ease any concerns and helping folks get comfortable with using any of the tools that we want to implement.
And then, so internally, how have you taken what would have been like routine tasks and taken things beyond workflow automation to be able to really have AI work at a pace that is really accelerating you? So, like, in other words, like, just really any systems that you've put in place to really speed up the efficiency so that you can go through those 100 resumes,
Mhm.
and any adjacent sort of workflow processes.
Yeah, definitely. So in the applicant tracking system that we use, we have screening questions set up, and that's sort of what helps us to organize the applications as they come through. We also use a tool called MetaView that is used for note taking. And so we use that for our phone interviews, for new position intakes, for discovery calls with clients. And so it allows us to be fully present in a conversation and not trying to just furiously type away, because we do the initial screening of candidates for our clients. We're really thorough in that process. And so we're spending anywhere from 30 to 60, maybe even 75 minutes on a phone with a candidate. And we're,
So is that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is
Mhm.
that like a note taker, kind of like Fathom, or
Yeah,
it just sits
yeah.
there and records?
Yeah,
Okay, it's
exactly.
not interactive though, with like giving you feedback of like, hey, don't forget to ask this question or something like that.
So they have templates built out in
Yeah.
within the platform, and so there is one that'll say that kind of calls out some things to follow up on in the next interview. I don't I'm still working on trusting everything. So it's another thing where you really still need to go through and really make sure it didn't make an assumption about something that a candidate said. But really helps to create a bit of a guide, and it can be a reminder sometimes of like, oh yeah, they said that one thing that was a little bit, I want to dig into that a little bit further in the next round. It's nice to be able to have at least that initial go of the
Yeah.
interview notes and some follow-up and action items.
Yeah. And what about any automations or AI or anything that you're thinking might be something that would be great to help you with scaling the next part of your work?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah. So recruitment specifically, I would really love to come up with a tool, and we could use Copilot for this. Maybe we could use MetaView for it. But kind of to your point of something that creates those follow-up or those action items, or just really helps to facilitate a lot of the administrative work that we're doing as recruiters of creating that candidate summary, making those recommendations on moving forward. And so if we really want to be able to utilize the agents feature within Copilot
mhm.
to help us with that of helping to identify action items and kind of push things forward, because the admin side of things just takes forever.
It does. Yeah. And the admin kind of across any industry, it's such a good use of AI,
Hmm.
right? And that's what my whole mission is, to enable businesses and people in business and employees and consultants would have to be able to use AI so that it's increasing their output every day. It's helping them be more efficient, and ideally so that they're spending more time with their families,
Yeah.
so that it's not just getting them to like, okay, now they can go on to the next phase of things, but they're able to like spend time, for me, it's about spending time, with my child. And for other people, as a matter of fact, it may have been Cindy, I think, that like shared a story of like she was able to spend
Hmm.
more time with her mom
Yeah.
because she was able to do some work around an RFP much quicker utilizing AI. So that's part of my mission behind the AI consulting work that I do
Hmm.
personally.
Yeah, yeah, it has so much potential, and I'm really excited to. It's been interesting to see these new tools come out. They continue to make some new developments to it, and so they get a little bit better
Yeah.
and better every time. And it just is really interesting to see all these new things that are starting to come out. And sometimes it's like, where do I even start? I
Yeah.
I'm trying to attend
So
as
much.
many webinars as I can, or speak with other folks that work in my industry that are using tools, because you can learn so much just from other people and how they're using it. Because you can see all these things that are available to you, but
Right.
where do you start?
I know. And how do you stay focused on the one? Because it's all going so fast
Yeah.
and the AIs are leapfrogging each other. And it's the
Hmm.
classic, like, find a tool that works and just use it really well. Right. And
Yep.
they're going to come out with different iterations or versions of it. And so just as long as you kind of stay focused on the bigger task that it's actually helping you with, then I think that it just really helps you expand your growth. Where would it be can you share any experiences that you've had where when implementing, it could be a new AI or a new workflow or something that you've learned because of AI, but like it led to an unexpected challenge
Mm.
in your business or in your role, and how you overcame it?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that's come up was just when we started to implement AI, I was kind of looking at it from my perspective and not taking into not getting other people's inputs on things. I kind of just put it on myself that I needed to figure everything out. And I
Mm,
was kind of on this island all by myself of doing this research and figuring out how we're going to utilize these tools and what tools to use. And everything was slow. I was getting too bogged down in the weeds of things. I don't know how our HR consultants are going to use some of these tools on their day to day, because I'm not an HR consultant. I work in recruiting, and the way that we can
yeah.
utilize these tools is so different. Just learning to involve other folks in the process, really taking the time to sit down with people and see what they're using, how they're using it, has been incredibly beneficial. And I feel it's made things move so much quicker ever since I started involving more people in the process, involving more people in the work sessions and saying, hey, let's work through this together. I don't need to try to figure it out on my own.
Mhm. Yeah, that's key. I think that really ties in like the human aspect of it all as well, and just making sure that the AI isn't like running away without its guardrails,
Mhm.
and that you guys are helping to check that you're on task with the overall picture at where you're going, and you're using the AI or different types of AI to help you get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the first things that we did too was put together an AI policy, an AI use policy, and
Nice.
just a statement too of how, as an organization, we're going to utilize AI, just so we can make sure that everyone's on the same page of the guardrails that we want to put in place, what's okay to put into ChatGPT, what's not, what do you need to use Copilot for versus another, third party LLM. And so just kind of setting the stage there and sort of setting those expectations was really helpful too, to just do that from the get go before we really dug into things.
Is that something that you're also perhaps suggesting or inviting your clients' HR side of things to maybe implement in their businesses as well?
Yeah, we do have some clients that are starting to use some tools and some that are just a little bit curious about what we're using and how they're working for us. And so first and foremost, it's just understanding, why do they want to implement a tool? Why do you want to use ChatGPT internally? Are you aware of how your information is being used? Are you aware of how your team is currently using it? And so it's like everyone gets really excited about it and like, oh, here's this bright, shiny thing. I
Right,
can't wait to
right.
use it. It's going to make my life so much easier, but they're maybe not aware of all of the things that go into, especially from a data privacy standpoint too. So
Yeah.
kind of getting folks like, yes, we're excited, you're excited, but let's take a step back and really like start from the beginning and make sure that your team is prepared to start utilizing a new tool.
And can you speak to any trends that you may be seeing in regards to either AI in recruiting or AI in any of the company sectors that you're working with, or any trends that the candidates might be seeing? Like, what sort of AI trends are you thinking might be coming around the corner in 26?
Yeah. So on the recruiter side of things, I'm seeing some more tools. I'm seeing AI interviewers, which I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's an
So I know
interesting.
there's different types. Can you go a little deeper on like what type you're referring to?
Yeah, I've seen some that are an actual the image of a person. Like, you think that you are video chatting with a recruiter, but
Yeah.
it's just the company's AI. It's just an artificial recruiter. And
Yeah, it's an
I
avatar.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. It's just kind of interesting, but I can see the use case, I suppose, for organizations that are the Googles of the world that are getting thousands of applications. And it's like, how do you
Right.
possibly even begin to go through all of those applications or
Right.
have those interviews or do phone screens with folks? So maybe for bigger organizations, but for us would never be something that we would recommend to any of our clients. Some tools, and LinkedIn is implementing some new features within their recruiter platform, helping with sourcing. They have an agent that will do the sourcing for you. So it'll find candidates for you based on the job description that you input, or it can just help you fine tune your search results. So it's kind of the different levels of, we'll help you a little bit or we'll just do it for you. So that's been
Huh.
kind of interesting. And just from the interviewing chatbots that answer the questions for you if you're submitting your application or you're asking questions
Sure.
to a recruiter, it's actually just a chatbot that's responding to you. So I think that's been something that's come up pretty often too. And from the candidate side of things, there are just a lot of concerns from folks. We hear a lot of feedback of people worried that they need to beat the AI when it comes to their application, that they need to ensure that they have all of the proper keywords in their application so that it's going to be seen by a recruiter, an actual person. So there's just a lot of hesitation there. But folks are also now starting to learn how to use AI to their benefit too, of, okay, here's my resume, here's this job I'm applying to, help me make some edits to my resume so that it'll be more catered to this specific role. So there are definitely some ups and downs to it, pros and cons, but there has just kind of overall been a little bit of some reservation about
Huh.
just getting, because with the current job market, a lot of folks, especially in marketing, we're seeing more so of the technical roles of maybe more the entry level engineering, entry level coding. A lot of these positions, folks are worried that they're going to be replaced by AI because
Mm.
chat can now do the coding for you. So there's definitely been a lot of reservations there of like, here's this really great tool that I can use, but it's also possibly going to affect my ability to get this job.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And so, as part of your service, do you guys do what I would call like resume enhancement and suggestions in regards to building up their resume with the assistance of AI? Or is it something that you guys just do on your own organically? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we offer candidate coaching services
I
where we
see.
will meet one on one with job seekers and help them to make some updates to their resume and their LinkedIn profile. So that's where we're not using AI.
Yeah.
It's really important to us to still maintain that human interaction and spending that time with candidates and really helping them to explain why we make certain recommendations versus just having some tool do it for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And is that just kind of like a freebie, a nice offering that you guys do? Or
It's a
is it a
paid
service? It
service.
is a paid
Yeah.
service. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but usually like the recruiting, it's like paid by the clients, like the placements are paid by the clients, right? The companies. And then, and so this is an extra paid service. So to be able to help the candidates out. Well, that makes
Yeah.
sense because then it's also a benefit to you guys because then you're really helping them present their best foot forward.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so we work with clients to help them fill their roles, but also work with candidates in their career search and help them if we don't have a position with one of our clients that is a match for someone that comes to us. There's always that option to work with us in a coaching capacity.
I love it. Great. And so, what advice would you give to businesses that are at all hesitant about really implementing AI in a big way in their company?
Oh gosh, I would say embrace it. I mean, it's here. It's here to stay, and it's going to continue to get better. And I feel with just more education and understanding, there is a lot of unknown still, and so being careful and cautious about it. Do your research. Don't just jump into something head first, but just understanding overall the goal is for these tools to be able to make our lives easier or make our lives more
Yeah,
efficient, make our work more efficient. And I feel overall it's an added benefit. You just have to be smart about using it and making sure that you're kind of doing all of your research before you opt into a new tool.
absolutely. It's very key. And not to get lost down into the wormholes with all
Hmm.
those shiny objects and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, and I mean, I've seen such a just like rush to AI in general in a lot of things, and then certainly in the recruiting industry as well. There's just so much going on, and some are like at that huge scale of like we were saying with like using avatars for large
Hmm.
companies and stuff. Yeah, it's very very exciting times and very very rapidly evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feels
yeah,
like we're in, the beginnings of a sci-fi movie.
I know,
It's
right?
it's a little worrisome, some of the things.
It can be.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, just staying educated on what's going on and in the companies too, understanding what are their values and what's their purpose and what are they really trying to do with this tool
Yeah.
or platform or whatever it is. So just really staying educated as much as possible.
Well, great. And so, as people would want to learn more, become more educated about HR Annie and your guys' services, how can they find you guys online?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are on hrannieconsulting.com. You can find our website. We're also on LinkedIn, HR Annie Consulting. It's where folks can also connect with me as well if they have any questions. Elisa Gooding on LinkedIn. We're also on Instagram if anyone's on Instagram, but
Insta.
I'd say, yeah, oh, yes, still trying to keep it going. But yeah, that's also HR Annie Consulting as well.
Right. Awesome. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. This was fun.
Wonderful. Yes, likewise.